This conference will now be recorded.
So just to recap, since it's been a few days that we have taken a break, so we were discussing about this storage account, and we have discussed about this blobs, file shares, queues, and tables, and we have also installed Azure Storage Explorer, and we were able to connect to the storage account using different method. I've given a task also. I'm not sure if you have tried or not, but let me know if you are facing any issues with Storage Explorer connectivity. So before I cover the remaining settings here, so let me give a kind of another configuration which is not on this. So let's say you have uploaded all of your data using Azure Storage Explorer, but when you are trying to upload a huge data, let's say you have got your on-premises data up to 1 terabyte or 500 gigabytes or even more than 1 terabyte. So you may feel that it's going to consume more bandwidth. Consider 1 TB is huge even for organizations as well because of the bandwidth constraints. If they upload that much data into Azure for their business needs, that upload bandwidth may impact other applications, network latency. It means since you are uploading huge data, and you may see slowness in all other applications where the customers or where the end users and also your employees might see that impact. So, and also the security, right? So let's say we have uploaded some small files into our storage account, which is fine, where you can upload it up to 10 GB, 20 GB. It's up to you. If you have 1 Gbps bandwidth, you can go ahead and use it. But still, some companies may have a lot of restrictions in uploading their data over the network, especially the banking sector organizations, because they'll have financial data. And also, if you consider, let's say, PHI, which we call it as a patient health information, PII. So these are different types of data classifications that we have got in terms of data security. So personal identifier identifiable information like phone number, email ID, first name, last name. So this is like very crucial data for organization. It should not get leaked even when you are trying to upload over the internet. Just for avoiding, like, to avoid that kind of issues, they may go into different concept like import or export jobs. And we also have Azure data box. So in this import and export job, if you have any of your data which is huge, let's say you have like 1 terabyte, and you want to upload this 1 terabyte data to Azure, you're not going to use a network. You're not going to do it through Storage Explorer. So what you are going to do is you are going to send 1 TB of data hard disk. It means you have to copy all of this 1 TB data into a hard disk where you need to prepare using encryption tool. Okay, or you can call it as a disk preparation tool. Using this tool, you have to prepare that hard disk, make sure that it is encrypted, and then send it to Azure data center. Send to Azure data center address, and data center engineers will copy all of your data, whatever that you have sent as part of this hard disk. They will copy it to your storage account, whatever you have mentioned, and they will send this hard disk back to you. Okay, now what if you have similar type of data in Azure, you want to bring it back to your on premises. Okay, so you're going to send again 1 TB of 1 TB capacity of empty hard disk. Okay, so again we are going to use disk preparation tool, and you're going to send it to Azure data center address. While creating this import export job in Azure portal, you're going to mention, I'm going to show that now. You're going to mention which storage account that you want to bring the data, or to which storage account that you want to upload the data. Okay, so this is a kind of offline method where you will be sending empty hard disks to bring your data from on Azure to on-premises, and the data disk from on-premises to Azure. We call it as import or export job. So let's see, because this is also required for the enterprises to handle a bandwidth concerns and the security issues that they have as part of this data transfer strategy, right? So let's go to this is out of this storage. So search for import or export. You can see that import export jobs. Now here you can see there are no jobs at this stage, and before that I will look after this storage accounts what I have. There are two storage accounts, lab 1 and lab 2, and these are in East US locations. Okay, now I'll go back to import export jobs, and from here I'm going to create. So I'm going to choose my resource group where my storage account is, and name of this job, whether you're trying to import or export. So here you have to understand differently. It means importing means you are importing data into Azure. It means you are sending your data to Azure, not from Azure. Okay, so don't think other way around. Import means not from Azure to on-premises. It is from on-premises to Azure. So let's say import job 1 and destination Azure region. So I have my storage accounts in East US. Okay, select that East US, and next option you have here journal files. It means you have to prepare your hard disk with, here you can see Windows Azure import export tool. You have to use this tool, as I told you, disk preparation tool, right? So this disk preparation tool is nothing but import export tool. You have to download it, install it on your system, connect your hard disk to your system or to any of your server, and use this tool to encrypt that disk wherever that you have the data, and you have to connect that disk. Okay, just like your pen drive. Let's assume pen drive, but we are not going to send pen drive. I'm just giving an example. Connect your pen drive to your laptop and prepare that pen drive using this tool. After preparation, it's going to give a file called journal file. సో ఆ ఫైల్లో ఏముంటుందంటే ఈ సో డిస్క్ నేమ్ అండ్ అది ఎన్క్రిప్షన్ అయినట్టు ఆ ఆ రిలేటెడ్ డేటా అంతా కూడా ఉంటుందన్నమాట. సో దట్ మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ Azure will be able to identify your disk using this journal file. ఈ ఫైల్ లేకుండా ఉన్నదనుకో అది ఇన్వాలిడ్ ఫైల్ కింద, ఐ మీన్ ఇన్వాలిడ్ డిస్క్ కింద లెక్క అవుతుంది అనమాట. బికాస్ like number of people will be sending disks. So if there is no preparation, it means if the data is not encrypted using this tool, then Microsoft is not going to consider your hard disk. And that's the reason you have to generate journal file, and that file has to be uploaded here. Okay, now ఎక్కడికి సెండ్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాం మనం డేటా, you have to choose the storage account. So లొకేషన్ ఈస్ట్ యూఎస్ చూస్ చేసుకున్నాం కాబట్టి ఈస్ట్ యూఎస్ లో ఎన్ని స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్స్ ఉన్నాయి అని చూపిస్తాయి అనమాట. ఇక్కడ select any of your storage account and drop off location. So next, how are you going to send your hard disk to data center? ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే we have got Microsoft authorized courier services, or you can call it as carriers, partners, like delivery partners for their uh, goods. So you can use DHL, FedEx, Blue Dot. These are the courier partners for Microsoft. You have to register and transfer it through these guys only. Let's consider DHL. So I'm just giving some dummy number here. Let's say something like this, and contact name. It is a kind of return address. You have to give return address, and like after copying the data, to whom that it has to be sent it back. I'm just giving some random number. Okay. So at the rate gmail.com, I'm just typing some random letters just to show you next step. Okay. Next. Still you are not seeing the to address. Okay. Because see here, validation failed, and see here, this is the address I wanted to show you. So once you come back through all these steps, by filling all these courier details and all these configurations, you are going to get the to address where you wanted to send. So if you look at this address, job import job 1, Microsoft Azure import service, and this is the address where you wanted to send. It is not a data center address. It is a third party address because Microsoft will not publish data center addresses for security reasons. Okay, so these third party guys, again, they will securely transfer it to another vendor, and from there it will go to Azure. So before you type all of this carrier name, contact name, and all this, you should have your carrier account number. It means కొరియర్ స్టేషన్కి వెళ్ళి షాప్కి వెళ్ళి అక్కడ మనం డాకెట్ నెంబర్ తీసుకోవాలన్నమాట. ఆ నెంబర్ తీసుకొని అన్ని రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఏదైతే ఆ నెంబర్ వాళ్ళు ఇస్తారో మనకు అలొకేట్ చేస్తారో ఆ నెంబర్ని ఇక్కడ టైప్ చేయాలి ట్రాకింగ్ పర్పసెస్ కోసం. సో దెన్ యూ నీడ్ టు సెండ్ ఇట్ in a secured way. So DHL guys will recommend like in a way that to pack, how to pack and everything they will recommend, and they are going to send it to this address once you provide this address. So this particular job will take 7 to 10 days after the disks have been received at the data center, right? Consider a network bandwidth. If a bandwidth is like very limited and if you want to transfer 10 TB, 100 TB, whatever it is, I've just given an example of 1 terabyte. If it is more than that, so go for this kind of import job where you can transfer your data from on-premises to Azure. Okay, now this is import job. Now let's come back to export job. So I'm not able to create it because we don't have right reference numbers and we are not sending any disk to data center. Just wanted to show you the steps. And this time, let's try to create export job. Export job is nothing but you are bringing the data from Azure to your on-premises. So I'll write here export job and select this export job. I mean export from Azure. Region, again I'm going with East US because వేరే రీజన్స్ లో నాకు స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్స్ లేవన్నమాట. సో ఈస్ట్ యూఎస్ లో ఉన్నాయి ప్రస్తుతానికి. ఒకవేళ వేరే దాంట్లో ఉంటే యూ హ్యావ్ టు చూస్ ద రైట్ లొకేషన్. ఓకే, వేర్ యువర్ స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్ ఈస్ క్రియేటెడ్. Job details, and choose the storage account where you have your data. If you have multiple accounts, choose the one that you want. And blobs to export. So do you want to export all the data in this storage account or only the selected containers? So if you have got multiple containers are nothing but the folders. Okay, if you have got multiple folders or blobs, you can add those containers here. It will display all the containers. Okay, if you wanted to add exclusively the blobs, it is nothing but the same. Again, the folders it will display, you have to choose. Okay, so I am choosing export all. Next option is shipping. Again, the same procedure. You have to register this one with your courier partner before you send. You have to provide all those numbers. So I'm just writing some random numbers here. Okay, next, review and create. Even here also, you are going to get the same address. Okay, the only thing that you have to do in export job is you have to choose the right storage account and choose all the data, whatever that you want, and enable export from Azure. That's it. Okay, so this is the way that you are going to use if you have huge amounts of data in your data center, and if you wanted to bring it to Azure or get back from Azure, this is one of the method. After Azure Storage Explorer, upload and export. Not only using Azure Storage Explorer, you can also upload storage account, data to storage account using this portal, and from here choose the container and then upload. But this uploads will sometimes be unsuccessful because if there is any outage in your network, it will stop uploading. So again, you have to initiate. So to avoid this kind of issues, you can go with that import export job. Okay, so any questions here? In interviews, you might get questions on this, like if I have huge like large amount of data, how are you going to uh, upload it to Azure? So I have a requirement for the business to move my data to Azure, and after a few days, customer is not happy with the data to be stored in remote location. I wanted to bring it back. So you have to think and answer. So there is one more option, as I mentioned. Apart from this import export jobs, still customer feels that okay, this is a tedious task where you have to go to courier partner and then uh, they are going to come. They're going to provide you the docket number and things like that. If you feel uncomfortable with that approach, we have an option called Azure Data Box. Okay, so Azure Data Box is a device with multiple storage limits, and you have to order this device from enterprise subscription. If you have huge amounts of data, Microsoft is going to send this data box device to your address. You don't need to do any hard disk preparation or anything like that. You have to just order based on the data capacity. Microsoft is going to send this data box device to your address, and then you have to copy all of your data to this data box, and again they'll come back based on the date that you mentioned. They will take this data box to Azure Data Center. Okay, so let me show you how that Azure Data Box looks like. Yeah, here you can see. So if you have a data of around 100 TB capacity, you're going to get this kind of device once you order, and all the protocols and security encryptions are enabled already by default. You have to just order it. In order to order it, you should have enterprise account so that it will be allowed for you to order. So this device is having capacity of up to 100 terabytes, and If you look at this data box disk, this will allow up to 40 terabytes, and sorry, it is up to 8 terabytes, and you can order up to how many devices? Yeah, 5 devices, 5 disks of 8 TB, which will give you 40 terabytes, which is very simple to order and get. Okay. Now you also have data box heavy, which will give you 1 petabyte of data to the cloud, which is like 1000 terabytes. Okay. So you can also go for this one, but I cannot order as I mean in our subscription, and I just wanted to give a heads up where you can order, and that will be delivered to your address, I mean official address, and you have to transfer the data. So this is one more option, which is a data box gateway. So they are going to enable a direct connection using a virtual appliance. It means you are going to build a server on your on-premises using this data box gateway, and you are going to use this data box gateway to transfer the data. Okay, so just to give a heads up on this diagram, you can see that. So the first thing is, where is that? Yeah, so you have, where is data, and offline. If you want to copy it offline, you have to order this data box disk, data box heavy, all these three options you have. And once you copy that data, they are going to transfer it to Azure data center. And data box gateway is online only, it is again through the network only. Okay, so if you are not happy with this data box gateway, again because of bandwidth and security concerns, you can avoid this. If it is a online data copy, go with this data box gateway, and they are going to transfer it to Azure. So look at this. This is the Azure logo. Okay. You have to slowly memorize all these symbols so that it will be easy for you when as we move on. Okay. Any questions? So once you receive this data box to your data center, you have to just plug in that data box to your on-premises network, copy all the data to this disk, and again you can transfer it back. Right. Any questions?
Uh, Ravi here. So while in the first option of data transfer, import, export,
Hmm.
so we need to convert the data into one particular encrypted format, and then we need to copy it to hard disk, and then we need to send it to Azure
No, no,
center,
no,
right?
no, no,
Azure
no.
data center.
You no need to convert your data. You need to prepare your disk to make sure it is secured. That's it. Because if once you prepare your disk to be secured, by default, all the data in that will be in secured state, which will be in encrypted state. No one, even if someone hacks that, no one will be able to read the data. So that is how it has to be.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
In your experience, anyone uses these options, import, export data?
Yes, yes. It depends. Depends on organization to organization. But you should be in a position to give solutions to the customers if they come back to you, if they are facing any issues with this kind of data transfer. Okay,
Okay.
so before Databox was released recently, only like 3 4 years ago, and before that we had only Azure import export job. Everyone was using that. After this data boxes has come from Microsoft, everyone wanted this one because they don't want to spend their hard disks and prepare their disks using disk preparation tools and things like that. So they wanted everything from Microsoft, and they are using that. So you can order this, and this is a free device which you can get. But the only thing is, once you transfer the data to Azure, there will be a data transfer cost. And based on the data that you are going to store, let's say you're going to store 1 terabyte. So you're going to get a charge for that 1 terabyte, not for the entire storage account. Okay, right. So let's come back to storage accounts again. So from this data management, we have got geo replication. So which means if you have primary and secondary regions, it will be visible in this section. So looks like we have got another storage account, which is in GRS, isn't it? No, it is ZRS. So let me try to upgrade this one itself, just to give some sort of, because we have already discussed this one, just to give uh, like to understand more concepts under that. Save. Right. So let's come back. Geo replication. So this will give you another data center here. Before it was only one. You can see that clearly. Now, let's say Microsoft data centers are running fine and there is no outage on any service, including storage account, but still you wanted to test a DR strategy. So each and every organization will have a disaster recovery setup for their critical business. So as part of their DR strategy, they'll be doing some DR drills. It means in the worst case, how they wanted to transfer or how they wanted to transform their primary data center access to secondary. So they'll be testing all of this as part of their DR strategies. So you can test when you have primary and secondary regions, and here you can see that failover cannot be initiated at this stage because మనం జస్ట్ ఇప్పుడే ప్రైమరీ సెకండరీ అని చెప్పేసి జిఆర్ఎస్ కి అప్గ్రేడ్ చేసాం కాబట్టి మనకి ఇక్కడ ఆప్షన్ రావట్లేదు. సో ఆప్షన్ ఎప్పుడు వస్తుంది? ఇంకా కొద్దిసేపు తర్వాత ఈ ఫస్ట్ డేటా అంతా రెప్లికేట్ అయిన తర్వాత దెన్ ఇట్ విల్ షో దెన్ వేర్ యూఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ఎనేబుల్ ఫెయిల్ఓవర్. ఫెయిల్ఓవర్ అంటే ఏంటి? నేను ప్రైమరీని సెకండరీ కింద మారుస్తాను అండ్ సెకండరీ విల్ బికమ్ ప్రైమరీ. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ అ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ వాయిస్ వర్సా వేర్ యూ కెన్ initiate the failover, which we call it as DR drill or DR strategy, where you can implement using this geo replication for storage account. So if it is LRS only, then there is no option to do a failover. LRS అంటే ఏంటి? ఒకే రీజియన్ లో ఉంటుంది, ఒకే డేటా సెంటర్ లో ఉంటుంది, అక్కడ నువ్వు డిఆర్ చేయడానికి లేదు. ఓకే, అండ్ దట్స్ ద రీజన్ whenever you're recommending any of your solutions to the customers, make sure to validate all of this. If it is business critical, if they say I want DR setup, if you did not plan it earlier, then it's going to be problematic for the client and for you as well, right? So I mean that will be a job of architect where they have to think of all the aspects, but I'm just giving a heads up for you as well. So it should be very nice to provide a solution to the customer. You should not miss anything. Okay, and the next option is data protection. So you have your data stored in file shares and blob storage under the storage account. Now, if someone deletes it accidentally, still you can restore it if you have this feature, enable soft delete for blobs. So up to 7 days, you can restore. Let's say if I give 10 days, yes, still you can enable it for 10 days also. But the problem is, the more days you keep, the more bill you get. Okay? ఎందుకంటే జస్ట్ లైక్ అవర్ రీసైకిల్ బిన్, మన సిస్టంలో రీసైకిల్ బిన్ ఉంటుంది కదా. సో రీసైకిల్ బిన్ లో కొద్ది రోజుల వరకే ఉంటుంది, అండ్ యూ కెన్ ఎంటీ రీసైకిల్ బిన్ వెన్ ఎవర్ యూ వాంట్. But here, if you don't want this feature, you can disable also. Okay, so this is for enable soft delete for blobs and enable soft delete for containers itself. అంటే ఏంటి? The first option what we have here is ఒక సింగిల్ ఫైల్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో అది డిలీట్ చేసినప్పుడు రిస్టోర్ చేయొచ్చు, లేదు ఎంటైర్ ఫోల్డర్ డిలీట్ చేసినా కూడా రిస్టోర్ చేయొచ్చు if you enable this option. Enable soft delete for containers, and that's the reason we have here data protection. Okay, so if you still wanted to have Azure backup, it means ఈ స్టోరేజ్ ని బ్యాకప్ కింద తీసుకోవాలంటే yes, you can go for Azure backup, but this will be a kind of huge cost for the organization. ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ ఆల్రెడీ ప్రైమరీ సెకండరీ ఉంది, విచ్ ఇస్ లైక్ GRS అనుకుందాం, and again you are going for a backup, so that will be additional cost. But some organizations will still take backup. It is like money doesn't matter for them, they wanted to have the data. Okay, సో ఈ బ్యాకప్ చెప్పాలంటే రికవరీ సర్వీసెస్ వాళ్ళు చెప్పాలి. సో అది నెక్స్ట్ లెవెల్లో వస్తుంది మనకి, బికాస్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ మోర్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ బిఫోర్ వి కవర్ బ్యాకప్. Okay, just to give a heads up here, this is a feature where you can take backup of your entire storage account or some of your storage account containers. Okay, అది తీసుకోవడానికి ఈ ఆప్షన్. So, and there is one more option which is point in time restore for containers. This is just like a snapshot. So we have discussed about the snapshot in our previous sessions. Let's say you're trying to do some configuration changes or document modifications in the container, and before you take this, before you do configuration changes, you're going to take a kind of snapshot or a backup. Not an actual backup, it is a kind of snapshot. It means it will capture the actual state of the container, and then once you modify, and if you wanted to revert back, you can use this point in time restore, where it will be restoring it to its previous state without any issues. You will still have old data. Okay, so that is the benefit of this point in time restore. So people who knows about VMware, they'll be able to understand this one easily. And I've given examples in snapshot sessions. ఇక్కడ స్నాప్షాట్స్ గురించి డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్నాం కదా ఈ కంటైనర్స్ కింద. సో అక్కడ మీరు చూసుంటే కనుక లైక్ ఇఫ్ యూ ప్రాక్టీస్, దట్ విల్ బి లైక్ సేమ్ ఆప్షన్ హియర్, బట్ దిస్ ఇస్ ఫర్ కంటైనర్స్. Okay, I'll repeat. Point in time restore is nothing but whenever you enable this option, it will capture the actual state of the folder. అంటే ఏంటి? లెట్స్ సే నా దగ్గర ఒక ఫోల్డర్ ఉంది, ఆ ఫోల్డర్ ని నేను ఒక కాపీ కింద తీసుకుంటాను. ఓకే, దిస్ ఇస్ రైట్. సో వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ ఈస్, నేను ఒక కాపీ కింద తీసుకుంటాను. కాపీ తీసి పక్కన పెట్టేసుకొని యాక్చువల్ ఫోల్డర్లో నేను చేంజెస్ చేస్తాను. సో యాక్చువల్ ఫోల్డర్లో చేంజెస్ చేసిన తర్వాత, ఎందుకంటే చాలా చేంజెస్ చేస్తాను, మళ్ళీ ఏం చేస్తాను నాకు గుర్తుండదు, అండ్ ఆ చేంజెస్ వర్కౌట్ అవ్వలేదు నాకు సరిగా, అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాను, నా రిక్వైర్మెంట్ నేను మళ్ళీ ముందు ఎట్లాగుందంటే ఆ ఫోల్డర్ ఆ స్టేట్లోకి ఆ ఫోల్డర్ తెచ్చేయాలి. అంటే నా దగ్గర ఒక కాపీ ఉందనుకో, ప్రీవియస్ స్టేట్లో కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తాను అనమాట. సో దట్ ఈస్ వేర్ యూ కెన్ యూజ్ దిస్ పాయింట్ ఇన్ టైమ్ రీస్టోర్. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈస్ అండర్ data protection. Now, enable versioning. So versioning is also very crucial for the organizations. Let's say you have done some changes to the file that will become version 1.0. I'm just giving an example. And if you do any modifications to the same file, that will become 1.1. Okay, versioning కూడా automatic గా enable ఉంటుందన్నమాట. Okay, this will help you to maintain previous versions for recovery and restoration. Okay, and you can also have all these logs. ఇప్పుడు ఒక స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్ క్రియేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేసే ఉంటారు, ప్రతి ఒక్క కంటైనర్లో లాగ్స్ అని ఒక ఫోల్డర్ క్రియేట్ అయింది. అది మనం క్రియేట్ చేయలేదు, బై డిఫాల్ట్ ఆ ఫోల్డర్ క్రియేట్ అయింది అనమాట. సో ఈ లాగ్స్లో ఏంటంటే ఇంకా డేటా ఏం లేదు ఇక్కడ. It will be uploaded once we have more and more transactions. So దాని బెనిఫిట్ ఏంటంటే, where is that? Yeah, I think we did not save it. Yeah, డిఫాల్ట్ గా ఫోల్డర్ క్రియేట్ అయింది కానీ డేటా ఎనేబుల్ అవడానికి ఇంకా మనం ఇక్కడ ఆప్షన్ ఎనేబుల్ చేయలేదు అనమాట, సేవ్ చేయలేదు ఫస్ట్. సో ఎవరు ఏం మాడిఫై చేశారు, ఎవరు ఏంటి డిలీట్ చేశారు, ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ log will be there with regards to your blob storage, which is a container storage. ఓకే, ఎన్ని ఫైల్స్ ఉన్నా ఒక్కొక్క ఫైల్లో ఎవరు క్రియేట్ చేశారు, ఎవరు మాడిఫై చేశారు, అండ్ ఎవరు డిలీట్ చేశారు అనేది ప్రతి ఒక్క లాగ్ ఫైల్, లాగ్ డేటా ఇక్కడ ఉంటుంది అనమాట లాగ్స్లో. సో లెట్ మీ ఎనేబుల్ దిస్ వన్. అండ్ you wanted to keep all the logs? Yes, you can choose this option. లేదు కొద్ది రోజుల తర్వాత లాగ్స్ డిలీట్ చేసేయాలి నాకు అవసరం లేదనుకుంటే, yes, you can go for this. Let's say 30 days అనుకుందాం, you can keep it. Keep all logs and save it. సో ఇప్పుడు అక్కడ లాగ్స్ ఫైల్స్ ఎనేబుల్ అవుతాయి. బ్లాబ్ చేంజ్ ఫీడ్, సారీ, దిస్ లాగ్స్ విల్ బి డయాగ్నోస్టిక్ సెట్టింగ్స్. అండ్ ఇక్కడ చూడొచ్చు ఇంకొక ఫోల్డర్ క్రియేట్ అయింది. It will take some time to have the data in that folder. Okay, so that is the benefit of this data protection, and where you have got various options. ఇది ఒక్కొక్కటి ట్రై చేయండి. మళ్ళీ నేను I'll be sending a link also where you can understand more about this concept. And నేను ఈరోజు కొన్ని టాస్క్లు కూడా పంపిస్తాను regarding to storage. I will send some tasks. If you are worrying where to start and what to do, then those tasks will be useful for you. And there will be some wrong tasks also on that. You have to identify which one is wrong and which one is not possible. Okay, so which is where which is then you will be able to understand it clearly. సో నేను రాంగ్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు అది వర్క్ అవుతుందా వర్క్ అవుదా అని చెప్పేసి మీరు సెర్చ్ చేస్తారు, అప్పుడు యూ విల్ బి ఏబుల్ టు లెర్న్. ఓకే, I'll send some tasks out of the session along with the documentation link for this data protection. Practice it when you have time. Okay, any questions here? Okay, so the next one is object replication. So sometimes there might be a requirement to have same data in multiple storage accounts. Okay, నా దగ్గర, let me draw that. This is a simple thing again. ఈ storage account ఉంది, and again I've got one more storage account. Let's say I'll make it as like SC1, which is storage account 1, and this is storage account 2. సో ఇది ప్రొడక్షన్ అనుకుందాం, అండ్ ఇది నాన్ ప్రొడ్ అనుకుందాం. సో ప్రతిసారి ప్రొడక్షన్లో ఉన్న డేటా నాకు నాన్ ప్రొడక్షన్లోకి సింక్ అవ్వాలి. ఎందుకు సింక్ అవ్వాలి? నేను ఇక్కడ నాన్ ప్రొడక్షన్ డేటా యూస్ చేసుకొని కొన్ని డేటా అనలిటిక్స్ లేదు కొన్ని టెస్టింగ్ రిలేటెడ్ సినారియోస్ ఇవన్నీ నేను ఇక్కడ యూస్ చేసుకొని చేస్తాను అనమాట. బికాస్ ఐ కెనాట్ యూజ్ డైరెక్ట్లీ ఆన్ దిస్ ప్రాడ్, ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ డైరెక్ట్గా యూస్ చేశాను అనుకో బిజినెస్కి ఇంపాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు, బికాస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ ప్రొడక్షన్ అప్లికేషన్. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ ఉన్న డేటాని ఇక్కడ నాకు కావాలి, అప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి, మాన్యువల్గా కాపీ పేస్ట్ చేయాలి అంటే కష్టం అవుతుంది. సో యూఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ఎనేబుల్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ రెప్లికేషన్. ఇట్ మీన్స్ యూ క్యాన్ డూ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద డేటా ఫోల్డర్ దట్ యూ వాంటెడ్ టు సింక్రనైజ్, ఇక్కడ నుండి ఇక్కడ విత్ ఇన్ అజ్యూర్లో సింక్ అవ్వాలి అంటే you can go for this object replication option. Okay, and again the same way you can enable it from other way as well. It is all depending on your business needs, right? లేదు నేను ఏం చేస్తాను, ప్రొడక్షన్ నుండి డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకుంటాను, తర్వాత మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి అప్లోడ్ చేస్తానంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ అ 3-step ప్రాసెస్. డౌన్లోడ్ ఒకటి, అప్లోడ్ ఒకటి, ఐ మీన్ 2-step ప్రాసెస్. ఇక్కడ డైరెక్ట్ 1 స్టెప్లో అయిపోతుంది అనమాట. ఓకే, సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు ప్లాన్ your object replication as well, but most of the cases whatever I've seen from like different customers, no one is using this object replication. It is a rare case that they use. What they feel is if they have this configuration in this scenario, production should communicate to non-production, where security will not allow to communicate between prod and non-prod. ఇక్కడ బ్యారియర్ అన్నమాట. సో అట్లాంటప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, యూ హ్యావ్ టు గో విత్ డౌన్లోడ్ టు యువర్ కామన్ స్టోరేజ్. కామన్గా ఏదైనా సర్వర్ ఉంటే అక్కడ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకుంటావు, ఇక్కడ నుండి ఇక్కడ అప్లోడ్ చేసుకుంటావు. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ ద మెథడ్ దట్ దే యూజ్. రైట్ నౌ లెట్స్ గో బ్యాక్ and see how we can enable replication. This is within Azure. Remember, this is within Azure storage accounts. So I'm creating object rules, replication rules. Click on this destination account. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను ఎక్కడున్నాను, స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్ ల్యాబ్ 1 అనే దాని మీద ఉన్నాను. When you choose this, you have to select another storage account which is destination. If I choose the primary one itself, see here, source and destination accounts must be different. ఇది ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది అనమాట. You have to choose a different account. Location doesn't matter, it should be under same subscription. Okay, now source container. So ఈ డెమో స్టోరేజ్ ల్యాబ్ 1లో we have got 3 containers. So I wanted to move the first container data to second container. ఇక్కడ చూసారా, సెకండరీ స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్లో కూడా ఒక కంటైనర్ ఉండాలి. కంటైనర్ లేకుండా మనం డేటా కాపీ చేయలేం కదా, యాజ్ పర్ అవర్ డిస్కషన్ ఎర్లియర్. యూ కెనాట్ అప్లోడ్ ఎనీ డేటా వితౌట్ ఎ కంటైనర్. సో ఇక్కడికి వస్తాను, స్టోరేజ్ ల్యాబ్ 2లో కంటైనర్, there is nothing except this default log folder. Click on container and I'm going to create, let's say, SA2 container. So there is a typo. Okay, yeah, storage account to container 1. Create. Now I've got container here as well. Let me go back to storage lab 1. You may not be using all this in enterprise subscriptions, but there are there will be requirements for a business, so you have to give guidance to enterprise customers. Create replication rules, at least for interviews, right? You might get questions on this. I have a data and how to move that data to secondary account. You can use this feature, object replication. So now this time, source is demo documents, destination is SA2, and I'll open one more tab here, just to show you what kind of data available in primary storage account. And see here, from these demo documents, we have got three files, I mean three blobs. Okay. And if I go to storage account 2, I can see only a folder name but no files. Okay. Now, after the synchronization, then we will be able to see some data on it. Now click on create. Replication will be enabled. What is this? Okay, that requires exclusive access, which is like, what is happening here?
That while creating a container, you opt it for private system first option,
Uh-huh.
private anonymous.
No, private is fine because even whatever that we are trying in the primary is also private. It is also private.
Maybe due to that.
No, no, replication is going on, it seems, because we have enabled GRS, right, just now. Maybe for that reason. Let me convert back. Yeah, this is the reason it seems. So let me go to geo replication. And yeah, this is still going on. So I will go to configuration. I will make it like LRS and save it. I'm just bringing back from GRS to LRS so that I can proceed with this easily. Right. What operation is happening here? Exclusive access. Okay. This is, did I make anything here? Save. Right. So operation is okay. There is something going on. Like we can give it a try after some time. Not sure what exactly it is happening. Probably this is the reason it seems, because even we are not able to convert that into GRS. Yeah. So this is the one. Once it is done with this initial setup, then only we can make. So which is fine. So that is the method. If required, we can try in next session also, but you can try on your labs. Okay. Creation of storage account and then try to enable replication rules from source to destination. Your data will not be replicated in secondary immediately. It will take some time for the first time, and then onwards, uh, it will be replicating very fast. Okay, you can see all that accounts, like how many objects copied and how many, like what are the storage accounts, and everything can be monitored under this setting. Okay, so blob inventory, yes, it means you can customize the number of objects that you have in your storage account, how many blobs, how many uh, blog blobs, how many page blobs. So everything can be monitored using this inventory. అంటే ఏంటి, let's say you are using this storage account only for PDF files or only for documents like Excel file, Word documents and things like that. సో ఈ రోజు ఎన్ని అప్లోడ్ చేస్తున్నారు, డేటా ఎన్ని ఫైల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అవన్నీ ట్రాక్ చేయడానికి యూ కెన్ యాడ్ blob inventory. This is a new feature. Okay, so using this blob inventory you can just get the metadata of that file. అంటే ఏంటి, ఎప్పుడు అప్లోడ్ చేశారు, ఆ ఫైల్ వర్షన్ ఏంటి, and you can get all that in this CSV format just for tracking purpose ante. Okay, you can get inventory weekly or daily using this feature. Okay, so ఇది mainly operations వాళ్ళు యూస్ చేస్తారు అనమాట, like where they are managing their system, like especially the monitoring team, they will be using this feature, right? So that is the benefit they use to just get the inventory. Other than that, there is no use. Okay, and static website. Okay, let's discuss about this as well. So now, if you take any website nowadays, be wipro.com, tcs.com or any organization, most of the websites are dynamic. It means every day there will be updates. Even consider Flipkart, Amazon, those are dynamic websites. Every day products will be updated and the prices will be updated based on the market rates. Sometimes you might see the same rates, but they will be validating every day. You might see a new products every day, new releases every day. So it means they are doing all the configuration changes in the backend to make sure that they have got the latest updates on the websites. Now, if you consider static websites, ఇదేంటి, సింగిల్ పేజ్ వెబ్సైట్స్ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. అంటే డేటా ఈరోజు అప్లోడ్ చేస్తే ఇంకంతే అట్లాగే ఉంటుంది అనమాట, అందులో ఏమైనా క్లిక్ చేసినా ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళదు. దీస్ ఆర్ లైక్ ఏ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ స్టాటిక్ వెబ్సైట్స్. సో స్టాటిక్ వెబ్సైట్స్ లో నార్మల్గా ఒక ఫిక్స్డ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ డేటా రిఫ్లెక్ట్ చేయడానికి యూస్ చేస్తారనమాట. సో అట్లాంటి సిచ్యుయేషన్స్ లో ఈ స్టాటిక్ వెబ్సైట్ యూస్ చేస్తారు. సో దిస్ విల్ బి యూస్డ్ టు హోస్ట్ స్టాటిక్ కంటెంట్ వేర్ there will not be dynamic changes every day, every minute, every hour. Okay, so ఇది ఎనేబుల్ చేయాలంటే just click on this. You have to have your a website pages where you have to upload into storage account, and ఆ స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్ నుండి ఇక్కడ పాత్ ఇస్తాం అండ్ ఆ డాక్యుమెంట్ నేమ్ ఇచ్చేస్తాం. దట్స్ ఇట్, ఆ వెబ్ పేజ్ ఇచ్చేస్తాం అనమాట, అంతే. అది యూఆర్ఎల్ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా జనరేట్ చేసుకుంటుంది. వన్స్ యూ సేవ్ ఇట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద స్టోరేజ్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ విల్ గెట్ యూఆర్ఎల్ అండ్ people can use that website. Again, this is also a, a limited feature because did you see any organization using dynamic website, sorry, static website? No. Even the blog writers who writes the blogs, they will also update their data every day or at least every week. Okay, so using this static web content, you will not be able to achieve anything except a fixed data on your storage account website. అంటే ఏంటి, ఇఫ్ యూ రిమెంబర్ ద ఓల్డెన్ డేస్, లైక్ అప్పట్లో కొన్ని పేజెస్ ఉండేవి అనమాట. ఒక పేజ్ లాంచ్ అయితే అంతే అనమాట, ఇంకా వేరే ఏం చేంజ్ అవ్వదు. చాలా రోజులు అలాగే ఉండేది, తర్వాత ఎప్పుడో చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. లేకపోతే ఇప్పటికీ కొన్ని వెబ్సైట్స్ అట్లాగే ఉండిపోయాయి అనమాట. అప్పుడు ఎప్పుడో ఇయర్స్ ముందు చేంజ్ చేసిండేటివి అట్లాగే ఉండిపోతాయి అనమాట. అంటే దే ఆర్ నాట్ మేనేజింగ్ దట్ వెబ్సైట్స్. అట్లాంటి వాటి కోసం ఈ స్టాటిక్ కంటెంట్ యూజ్ చేస్తారనమాట, రైట్? So even since we are not developers and we don't have any demo web pages to see it, we can ignore this option as well. Okay, so in next session I'll discuss about this life cycle management. This is also simple thing, and then we'll move on to next options. Okay, any questions here before we close for the day?
Anna, this data replication can be done from local PC to Azure account, storage account, as we did from GRS to GRS.
Sorry, can you repeat?
This data replication that we are doing through from GRS to GRS.
It is not GR, it is object replication. Okay.
No, I mean above option like data replication, right?
Data protection.
Sir, data.
You're saying this geo replication?
Yeah, geo replication. I'm sorry. Yeah, geo replication.
No, it
Can
is
it be enabled?
no, that is not possible, because if you remember the definitions of storage account, like LRS and TNT, okay, data center lo untadi. One data center to like LRS to GRS, no, that is not possible. That is something which is difficult to achieve. ఎందుకంటే దానికి నెట్వర్క్ డిఫరెంట్ ఉండాలి, మళ్ళీ ఇది ఇన్బిల్ట్ అన్నమాట. సో యూ కెన్ యూస్ దిస్.
Okay.
You can convert from LRS to GRS ante gaani you cannot enable replication from LRS to GRS.
Okay. And this object replication, generally CI/CD లో వాడతారు కదా అన్న?
ఏంటిది?
CI/CD లో జనరల్ గా టు మూవ్ ద డేటా ఫర్ ఎనీ చేంజెస్ అండ్ అప్డేట్స్ ఫర్ న్యూ
CI/CD ఆ పైప్ లైన్స్ నువ్వు చెప్పేది అది డిఫరెంట్ కదా.
దాంట్లో ఇది వాడరా అన్న ఆబ్జెక్ట్ రిప్లికేషన్? జనరల్ గా ఇట్ ఇస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ సిమిలర్ కాన్సెప్ట్ కదా.
అది డిఫరెంట్, అది వేరే.
ఓకే ఓకే.
ఇది వచ్చేసి అది
చేస్తారు కదా.
చేస్తారు, ఇది కూడా చేయొచ్చు, అదే చెప్పింది నేను. అది కోడ్ డిఫరెంట్ గా ఉంటుంది, పైప్ లైన్స్ ఇది డిఫరెంట్ కాన్సెప్ట్, దానికి దీనికి మ్యాచ్ చేయొద్దు. ఇది ఓన్లీ డేటా రెప్లికేషన్ అంతే. అక్కడ కూడా స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్ యూస్ చేసి ఆర్టిఫాక్ట్స్ అని చేస్తే దట్ ఈస్ డిఫరెంట్. ఇక్కడ నువ్వు అడిగినట్టు ఆబ్జెక్ట్ రెప్లికేషన్ లో LRS టు GRS కూడా చేయొచ్చు, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ అ మ్యాటర్. బట్ ఇక్కడ జియో రెప్లికేషన్ లో అవ్వదు.
ఓకే సరే.
ఓకే.